Greetings everyone, this is me again, Zahra Bazak. Come to show you what a crisis we have here about Sajdah prostration. 3 Quran ayats I'll show you right now. So, seems to be no contradiction on prostration in the Quran. I wonder if some Muslims, Sunni Muslims know about this. The Shias know about this because in the tafsir under one of these ayats, I think this one, Surah Yusuf ayat 100, he raised his parents upon the throne and they bowed to him in prostration, is given, and I checked it, that there's a certain type of prostration, full prostration, but technically or non-technically, God knows what it is. Then I'll show you the tafsir of the Sunni side also about this Talmud. It comes from the Talmud. They say we have to figure it out because it's the story on Hazrat Yusuf and Hazrat Yaqub, and Hazrat Yaqub prostrating to his son, excuse me, prostrating to his son Yusuf in Surah 12 ayat 100. That's Surah Yusuf. And he raised his parents upon the throne and they bowed to him in prostration, or fell down to him in prostration. That's also a sajda. And then we have Surah Fussilat, ayat 37, and of his signs are the night and day and the sun and moon. Do not prostrate to the sun or to the moon, but prostrate to Allah who created them, if it should be him that you worship. So directly in the Quran ayats, God doesn't explain why. Now here he says, only prostrate to Allah, meaning only is not there, but prostrate to Allah who created them. So the Quran only people could be quite confused about this. The Shias may not be that confused. So going to multilingual Quran on this, I had it ready, but it keeps going to the first tab. So the many tabs I've opened and it's going to take time. So we go here, Surah, this is where Allama Aka Medipuya had led me to. So where's that one? Prostrate. I don't think I've opened it here. Where's that? I thought I had opened it here. Multilingual Quran. But okay, it's going to take time. Multilingual Quran. Taking you to, where am I taking you to? Surah Yusuf. Oops, 12. Just missed it, sorry. Missed it, and now here display. Now I'm taking you to show you the commentary of the Shias in 100 ayat, under this ayat. So, and he raised his parents, meaning Yusuf, Hazrat Yusuf, or Joseph raised his parents upon the throne, and they fell down in prostration, sajda, before him. Not before Allah, but before him, before Yusuf. Hazrat Yaqub also was there. And he said, Yusuf said to his father, Hazrat Yaqub, or Jacob, "O my father, this is the significance of my vision of old," meaning the sun and the moon prostrated to him in his dream, and the 11 stars or the planets, something like that. So now the tafsir is about the sajda especially. Sajda, falling down in prostration. The father, the brothers, and the aunt, so there was no mother of Yusuf, fell down in prostration before Yusuf. There are two types of sajdas. One is that which is for Allah in total submission to His will. The other is done in reverence to pay homage to a divinely chosen representative of Allah. See commentary of Al-Baqarah 34. So I saw there, couldn't understand. I mean, the angels were asked to bow down to Adam. Aka Medipuya says the sajda by the father and brothers was the interpretation. Mother is not there. So parents, I don't know. So was the interpretation of Yusuf's dream in verse 4. In keeping with his character as a prophet of Allah, Yusuf, in all humility, attributes everything good and worthy not to himself but to the grace of Allah. The grace is always based on knowledge and wisdom. Okay, so but they prostrated to. So let's see then. Then Yusuf said, "Oh my father, this is the meaning. Oh my Lord, you have given the dominion, taught me the interpretation." Sajda, and so Sajda by the father and keeping his character as prophet of Allah. Everything good and worthy not to himself but to the grace of Allah. The divine grace is always based on knowledge. No. So this part, I think it's the Ali commentary. Sajda, falling down in prostration, the father, the brothers, and the aunt fell down in prostration before Yusuf. There are two types of sajdas. This means in reverence to pay homage to a divinely chosen representative of Allah. Even on earth you can do this. I don't know what the Sunnis also, I try to understand their tafsir on this. Let's see where I opened it to. Again, this Yusuf, Surah Yusuf ayat. Oh God, so it's a big one and there are big words, that names. Why is it giving me such misunderstanding? Trying to pull it down. Okay, this is Ala Maududi's tafsir 69. According to the Talmud, you have to go to the Talmud, the Quran readers. When Joseph learned, because the Quran doesn't give you in details. So, because of that ayat Surah Fussilat ayat 37, it says you can only do sajda to Allah, not the created, what He has created. So, like that, you will have a contradiction. When you look at Surah Yusuf ayat 100, how will you look at it? How will you see it? So this is the explanation from the Talmud by the Sunni Muslims, right? Oh, Salafis also, maybe. According to the Talmud, when Joseph learned that his father was upon the way, he gathered together his friends and officers and soldiers of the realm, attired in rich garments, formed a great company to meet Prophet Jacob on the way. This is all from Talmud. Can you believe this? So this story is from the Talmud. I wonder if it's in the Bible, this part of the story. Talmud is not part of the Bible, Old and New Testament. Anyways, it says H. Polano, page 111. 70. The interpretation of this verse has given rise to some serious misunderstandings, which are against the very fundamentals of the divine guidance. So much so that some people have gone to the extreme of making it lawful to prostrate before kings. You see what this verse has done. And saints as a mark of respect, because this verse says so. Others more strict on this point have explained it away because of perhaps Surah Fusilat, ayat 37. So there's a contradiction in the Quran ayats, but you see, it's not their fault. It's not the Maulvi's fault or the Muslims' fault, is it? Anyways, the interpretation of this verse has created some serious, given, rise to serious misunderstandings. Definitely so. And who are they blaming? Some Muslims. Others more strict on this point have explained it away, saying in the former divine laws, it was unlawful. Former divine laws. It was unlawful only to prostrate in worship before others than Allah. Though it was permissible to prostrate before others, unlawful, permissible. Though it was permissible to prostrate before others if it was done without the intention of worship, like out of reverence, deep respect, or something. But now in the divine law given to Prophet Muhammad, it got changed. It has been made absolutely unlawful. So this is how they reconcile now. So those poor Jews prostrating to their chiefs, even the 12 tribes and their chiefs of the 12 tribes in the Quran ayat, we are told that Prophet Muhammad would be telling them, he's changed the law now, not to do it. But Hazrat Yaqub did it to Yusuf. Hazrat Yusuf bowed to Hazrat Yaqub. No, sorry. Hazrat Yaqub bowed to Hazrat Yusuf, his son. Such misunderstandings, you see, as these have resulted from taking the words in this verse to mean to perform sajdah, in the technical sense in which it is now used in the Islamic code, that is, lying flat in such a way that the hands, the knees, and the forehead touch the ground. Whereas the word sujadan, has been used here in its literal meaning of sajud, to bow down. The parents and brothers of Prophet Joseph bowed down before him in accordance with the ancient custom among the people of the age. And the custom is still in vogue among some people who used to bow down before others to show their gratitude or welcome them or merely to salute them by placing their hand on the breast. But here it is sujood. There are many instances of this in the Bible, ... And when Abraham, saw them, the three men, coming towards him, coming towards him, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself towards the ground. Please refer to Arabic translation, Genesis 18, verse 32. Further on, it says that when the children of Heth gave a field and a cave as a burying place for Sarah, Prophet Abraham was so grateful to them that he stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. Genesis 23, verse 7. And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. Genesis 23, verse 12. In both cases, the words bowed down have been translated into Sajdah. In Arabic. So this is the Bible. Book of Genesis. These and other like instances in the Bible are conclusive proof of the fact that in this Surah Yusuf ayat 100, the Quran has not used the word in its technical Islamic sense, but in its literal sense. This is what happens when you steal from other people. Now they're saying literal sense and not in its technical sense. Now Islam has changed it. Besides, those commentators are absolutely wrong. Even the commentators are commentators are absolutely wrong, who suppose that in the former laws, sajdah, in the present Islamic sense, was allowed as a mark of respect laws, as a mark of respect laws, as a mark to respect laws. Oh, I don't know. Okay. For instance, during the Babylonian captivity of the children of Israel, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman above all the princes and commanded all his servants to bow and reverence him. But Mordecai, who was a holy and righteous man among the Jews, bowed not, nor did him reverence. Esther 3, verses 1 to 2. The Talmud, that's the book of the Jews, the Talmud has elaborated this point in a way that is worth reading. Now we have to go to the Talmud. The servants of the king said to this, and then you can read all this. Oh, there's a little bit, let me read it. So, the servants of the king said to Mordecai, why wilt thou refuse to bow before Haman, transgressing thus the wishes of the king? Do we not bow before him? You are foolish, answered Mordecai. Wanting in reason. Listen to me. Shall a mortal who must return to dust be glorified? Shall I bow down before one born of woman whose days are short? When he is small, he cries and weeps as a child. When he grows older, sorrow and sighing are his portion. His days are full of wrath and anger, and at the end he returns to dust. Shall I bow to one like to him? No, I prostrate myself before the eternal God who lives forever. To him, the great creator and ruler of the universe, and to no other will I bow. The Talmud selection by H. Polano, page 172. This speech, which was made by a believer from among the Israelites 1,000 years before the revelation of the Quran, is conclusive on the point. Thus, there is absolutely no room for the performance of Sajdah before any other than Allah. No room. Yet this Sajdah, they say, and in Genesis, Abraham bowed down, went complete bowing, and it's sujood. The word sujadan has been used here in its literal meaning of sajud, to bow down. What is this? So why has this word been used? So you see, we have to take recourse to Talmud and Bible, Genesis. In the Genesis, Abraham did bow down completely to the guests that came to him. Or is it the Talmud? So Talmud, when Joseph learned, and then the Genesis, no, in Genesis, Abraham bowed down, Bible. When Abraham saw them, the three men, coming towards him, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself towards the ground. Okay, So this is like ruku. So if the thing has changed now, you don't have to go to Talmud. God should have put here Jadiya and the kneeling, or ruku, which we have, which we do. We used to do, I mean, the Muslims do in their namaz, 5 times obligatory prayers, touching the knees and bowing down. But it's not written ruku, it's written sajdah, sujood, or something like this. Root word is sajdah. It means prostration, total, like we do in the namaz, salat. Oh my God. So, do you see what a problem this is? But you will say, no, it's not a problem. It is a problem. And one must see that this is a problem. And when, what is this now? Oh, so where Alka Medipuya had led me to, or Ali commentary, or Shia commentary, from this ayat to that. And what is this Hamim Sajda? And then I went here. So the Shias say there are 2 sajdas. One is to some Shias. I'm not sure if all Shias agree to it. So where are we now? We have to go to Surah Fusilat. It's so Surah Fusilat ayat 37 doesn't have a commentary. I'm left alone here with with no Shia commentary to explain this. And among his signs are the night and the day and the sun and the moon. Do not prostrate. Do not prostrate to the sun nor to the moon. And prostrate to Allah who created them, if Him it is that you serve. Is Hazrat Yusuf Allah, not only Jesus Christ? If you take this ayat, compare it with Surah Yusuf ayat 4 and 100, what you get? Hazrat Yusuf is Allah. Quran only. And since we don't have any commentary here, they've left us in the lurch, the Shias. Because here, this and its prostration, kind of same words used, right? Then we have a contradiction. Because, okay, there, Aka Medipuya Shias can say this, that, and this. This, what happens? What happens is that we need to see then something like Surah Fusilat. Then I have to go to the Sunnis. Surah Fusilat, ayat 37 tafsir. So I'm not well prepared for this, but a little bit here. After various translations, let's see, ala Maududis. Now the discourse turns to the common people and they are made to understand truth in a few sentences. That is why they are not the objects of divine power that you may start worshipping them, thinking that Allah is manifesting Himself in their form, but they are the signs of Allah, by pondering over which you can understand the reality of the universe and its system, and can know that the doctrine of the oneness of God, which the prophets are teaching, is the actual reality. The mention of the night and the day before the sun and the moon has been made to give the warning that the hiding of the sun and appearing of the moon at night, and the hiding of the moon and appearing of the sun in the day, clearly point to the fact that neither of them is God or the object of divine power, but both are helpless and powerless objects, and are moving subject to the law of God. This is an answer to the philosophy that the intelligent among the polytheists generally used to propound to prove that polytheism was rational. They said that they did not bow to these objects but bowed to God through them. An answer to this has been given and contradicted. Surah Yusuf, Ayat 4 and 100. An answer to this has been given so as to say, if you really are Allah's worshippers, there is no need of these intermediaries. No need. Why don't you bow down to Him directly? Why not? Yeah. Why didn't Hazrat Yaqub bow to, and his brothers bow to God directly? There's no need for this. See, whenever he's given an answer to these polytheists, it's always, I've caught him doing injustice against them. And this time again, I've caught him. So Shias and Sunnis giving their tafsirs makes no sense anymore. I mean, it is ridiculous trying to reconcile like that. And here they're saying, why? Not even out of respect. Not even out of reverence. Here it's like completely finished. Not even the way it is written and the tafsir is given. In Surah Yusuf, ayat 100. You see this? What an injustice to the polytheists. So this is where I caught him. He's used Allah trying to change the law or something, bringing misunderstandings even in Muslim Ummah and commentators. Like if you go to the Shia commentary, what does that Shia commentary say on Surah Yusuf ayat 100? You can bow to the Khalifa. Khalifatur, God made, representative on earth. And in what way? Not to worship him, but to, this is a contradiction and they don't want to see it, they don't want to accept it. Towards the polytheists, this ayat. Throw at them this ayat. Or this reason. Look at this. This is clear. But what the tafsir people do, they make it like shady and put like, here it's not even out of respect. Polytheists, why are you? There's no reason why you should bow to any other than Allah. The created beings even you cannot bow down to. Thank you, myislam.org on Surah Fusilat ayat 37. Tafsir ala Maududi. And then we don't have Ibn, we do. And from among the signs of Allah, here Allah reminds us creation of His power and that He is one who has no equal and He is able to do all things. Allah saying, and from among His signs are the night and the sun and all this. Do not prostrate yourselves to the sun, meaning do not associate anything in worship with Him, for your worship of Him will be of no benefit to you if you worship others alongside Him, because He does not forgive the association of others in worship with Him. He says, but if they are too proud, i.e. to worship Him alone, and they insist on associating others with Him, then there are those who are with your Lord, i.e. the angels. Glorify Him night and day, and never are they tired. This is like the ayah. And if these disbelievers there and then, indeed, we have entrusted to it to a people who are not disbelievers therein. Surah 6, Anam, I think, ayat 89. And among His signs, means signs of his ability to bring the dead back to life. Even Jesus did that. And see, there's a contradiction on that. By his permission. Jesus did it, but Jesus did it. So he should have put by his permission. But he doesn't put that, making it vague and all this. And then seeing that there are contradictions. When it's against the polytheists, the Ahle Kitab, there are contradictions in the ayats, in the commentaries where you're explaining this. Why not bring Surah Yusuf ayat 100 and explain what's happened? Why Hazrat Yaqub bowed to his son, Hazrat Yusuf? Why did the 11 stars or planets, sun and moon, bow to Hazrat Yusuf in Surah Yusuf? We are told it is stated in ayat 4, I think. Verily, he who gives it life surely is able to give life to the dead. Indeed, he is able to do all things. So the reason given by all Ibn Qatir, Abu Ala Maududi, doesn't explain, on one hand, bowing like this and bowing like that. Technically, no, this. Just very simple. Make it simple. I cannot explain, what is this? Can anyone explain to me about Surah Yusuf ayat? But, you see, Abul Ala Maududi. So thank you, my Islam, Ala Maududi. Now the discourse turns to the common people and they are made to understand truth in a few sentences. Wow. Look at this. That's why they are not the objects of divine power, that you may start worshipping them. Meaning, it clearly the verse says, do not prostrate to them. Meaning, worship them, worship them, worship them. And then God himself is not explaining the two contradictions in the Quran. If the Quran only people read it, they will have to use their minds and all this, but that's not. Ask those who do not know. So now you cannot, when you look at the Quran in the beginning, when you're a non-Muslim, but when you become a Muslim, then you have to become a believer too. So before becoming, no, then what is that? You see? Then you need to go to that ayat, not use your mind. Now, I know the Quran ayat says, see, if there were much contradictions in this Quran, it would be from other than Allah. So once you do that research, don't misunderstand that I'm a Muslim. I now look in the Quran, I see two contradictions, I use my mind, and I try to reconcile and see that there are no contradictions now. No, you cannot do what I do. And Muslims can't do that, okay? But when you started upon seeing first that the Quran ayats have no contradictions, then you take a step forward, say, yes, it's not from other than Allah. You can use your mind or whatever to say if you see no contradiction. But once you go and become a Muslim, what happens? You ask those. And what about that ayat? Ask those who know if you do not know. When do you need to ask them? When you can't understand. When there are contradictions you find. And you need whether to use your mind, which the Quran ayat says, and also use your mind, because God would put abomination on you if you do not use reason, your intellect. So you see, if you do not use your reason, God would put abomination on you. So when to use your reason for the Quran ayats, and when to ask those who know if you do not know for the Quran ayats. Pick and choose. Not very clear. So maybe in this also I need to use reason, that ask those who know if you do not know, uh, would be the Ahl Zikr, would be Abraham. Then I have to go to Genesis, like they did, the Sunni tafsir, Salafi tafsir, Muslims. Still, it's kind of weird, don't you see? So, long story short, seems like Prophet Muhammad has changed the religion now. Worship, prostration is worship, and not to prostrate to anyone. Now, Hazrat, back the abrogated verse, the abrogated ayat. But remember, so if you ask the polytheists, because this is for the polytheists, right? Against the polytheists, this is what your Muslim tafsir says. Tasweer. Against the polytheists. Like, why do you? And even Abraham, bring Abraham here. But in Genesis, he fell down prostrate when he saw the three men, special men coming to him. So, continue. And of his signs are the night and the day and the sun and the moon. Do not prostrate. Oh, Abraham looks at the sun and says, well, it goes down, and the moon also, yeah. And the stars also dim. In the daytime, you can't see them. But prostrate to Allah, who created them. But it doesn't say do not prostrate to a man, does it? So God created the man? Yes, we are told. Then now we have polytheists come, please help me. Thank God I studied some of Hinduism. Namaste. I bow to your divinity, which God breathed into you of His Spirit. And oh, Iblis, why do you not bow down? So then we go to what Ali commentary or someone took us to where Surah Baqarah ayat. Where's Surah Baqarah ayat? No, this is, here it is. In which, now it's gone, it's, which one was it? When he said to the angels, when he commanded the angels to bow to Adam? No, and believe, I've forgotten the verse, the ayat verse. You have a contradiction here. Those poor polytheists, you should say, well, God has now abrogated it. Even Jews now cannot, if they believe, they have to believe in us before we obliterate your faces. It confirms, but he's made a change. So now the Jews are like, oh, okay, God has made a change now. He has come. The Prophet, our Messiah has come. Now we cannot bow to our chiefs even in reverence. He's the Khalifat al-Rahman. He's the chosen one, Mukhlis, Khalifa, Caliph, Prophet Muhammad. But we can't bow to him. He's changed it. God knows where it is. So this is the problem, you see. for the Jews, for the polytheists, even in the Abrahamic religion, it was allowed to do that kind of sajda, but your intention, they say, the tafsirs say. But what has God said? Quran only. And which tafsir now you go to? Even the tafsirs really. Good news. Coming parable, not to be ashamed of a fly, something, I don't know. Dead. Where's that? Sorry, I can't find it. I'm quite tired. It says 12. Go to Surah Baqarah 34. And when he said to the angels, make obeisance, sajda to Adam, they did obeisance, sajda, but Iblis did it not. He refused, and he was proud, and he was one of the unbelievers. Satisfied with the proof of the absolute wisdom and mercy of Allah, the angels prostrated themselves before Adam, as ordered by Allah, and acknowledged the superiority of the Khalifa of Allah. Iblis, jinn, as described by the verse 50 of Al-Kahf, overcome with grief and despair under the burden of arrogance. Now, what does God tell you in Islam? Don't bow to anyone. Any created, it would be worshipping it. God comes back to what Iblis is actually denying here, saying, no, I'm denying his command. You are the one I bow to, not Adam, your Khalifa you made. The Khalifa you made for the people on earth. Okay? So, these verses, I tell you, against the polytheists, against the Jews, against Hazrat Yaqub bowing to Hazrat Yusuf at that time, the law was, Satan has come back with his pride. And even if you find it in Talmud or the Bible later on also, Satan has come back. I will not bow to them. So here, Ali commentary, Aka Medipuya, it's in this, it doesn't say Aka Medipuya says, but it's just Shia commentary. Under the burden of arrogance, refused to come into the camp of knowledge and mercy surrounded by Iman. According to this verse, prostration, sajda, by one created being in order to pay homage and accept superiority of another created being, is permissible, is allowed. The sajda of total submission and unconditional surrender is for the Creator only. But this sajda is allowed, and this sajda is not allowed to the created beings. And yet, what is the difference between that physical sajda? God has not told us. It is the tafsirs who are telling us. Quran only people stuck, maybe using their minds. But would it be fair to the polytheists, even if you use your minds to understand your Islam through these Quran ayats? And now call them niches. Surah Tawbah, it says to you, they are niches. And if the Shias, and if Allama Iqbal is saying, रोने वाला हूं मैं, no, he's saying सूरत सीरत नजफ में भी है दिल, कोई मकाम है खश खा के गिरने वालों का. Fall down. He only stops at prostration. नजफ सूरत सीरत नजफ में भी है दिल, ओ heart, कोई मकाम है खश खा के गिरने वालों का. Surah Maryam ayat, when they see the signs of Allah, they fall down. Is it prostrate? Weeping. It's not prostrate. But Surah Yusuf ayat 100 is prostrate. They fall down in prostration. And Dr. Iqbal says, Allama Iqbal, if Sajdah was one Sajdah allowed to this Bibi Fatima Zahra, a tribute to Fatima, a poem by Allama Iqbal, Maryamas yak nisbat hast, Fatima chahar nisbat hast. Something like this, 3 or 4. And then in the end he's saying, if Allah allowed me one sajda, I would have done sajda to her. To Fatima, Prophet Muhammad's daughter. Well, I said, of course, I read Surah Yusuf. I said, Iqbal. Allah has allowed it. Why can't you see it? Why didn't you see it? Allama Iqbal. Always pick up this wrong lighter. So this, can you see? And Quran only people, if you're going to use your minds, polytheists, even the Jews will say, well, we were allowed. So the polytheists, now you're saying, don't do sajda, or here you're saying this, they did sajda, you're not even saying that this is abrogated. The tafsir people are saying this. So what are you going to say? And if this is not against the polytheists, what are you going to say, Quran only people, about Surah Fussilat, ayat 37? And of his signs are the night and the day and the sun and the moon. Do not prostrate. The sujood. This is sujood. Comes from the tasjudu. Comes from the root word sujood, sajda, to the sun and not to the moon, but prostrate to Allah, the one who created them. If you, him alone, worship, even alone it's given you. Iyahu. What are you going to say about this, Quran only? Worship. Him alone worship. If it is him you alone worship. How unfair to the polytheists. He hasn't known about the polytheists anything. He just says things. Now he's even changed that Jewish law. Talmud From the Bible, Hazrat Abraham was bowing down, touching the ground. Even though we are told in the ayats that he was saying, I'm not going to bow down to any of this. Allah has created them. It is Allah alone I worship. But now the question of sujood has come. And so you will say that now Allah is saying, do not bow to any of the created. The one, okay? Like this. From this you will take that not even human beings are also created. So let's not bow down to human beings also. Or maybe we should bow to human beings. Figure it out for your minds. Or are you going to use something higher than your mind? Let's work this out. Huh? Or shall we ask those? The Jews will say, what will the Jews say? Only the meaning of sajda changes, intention, due to intention. The physical thing is this, kind of the same. Maybe before they used to completely go down like the Hindus in front of their idols. Flat on the ground. Oh my God, you don't see it. How he's messed it up. Oh my goodness. You see, it's not fair. And this is on Bilqis, justice. Who are you? Fooling, deceiving. So, where do I have to start now after this? After this, I will come back to show you that there is also one man who calls Allah to witness to his heart. But before that, Yusuf is God, because even the 11 stars, oh, let me show you, 11 stars and all. Planets or stars, what are they? Surah Yusuf, right? Ayat 4. Call to mind when Joseph said to his father, my father, I saw in a dream. Well, this is in a dream, but still 11 stars and the sun and the moon. Some say it's planets. How can there be just 11 stars? Okay, 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating, it's sujood, themselves before me. And Allah is telling them in Surah Fussilat ayat, telling you, Muslims, that you can't prostrate to the moon or the stars or the sun. Things I've created. Prostrate to me if it is if it is me alone you worship. What a blunder has taken place. By changing this, he's become unfair. If they say he's changed. But he himself doesn't say, I've changed the law and now this is the way the sajda and that. These are all in tafsirs. This is not a book in detail. And then, so this is not a book in detail. Ask those who, even that is a contradiction. Ask those who know if you do not know. Meaning, about these Quran ayats, explained in detail. But if you do not know, ask those who know, if you do not know. Maybe if you do not understand or what, can't, and your minds even can't reconcile the contradictory verses or what, like verses like these. So they prost Sajitin. Is Yusuf Allah? No, but they will tell you that in Talmud or in the Bible, Genesis, they used to do this in reverence. So even the polytheists were saying that we do this because in reverence. Of course, this is not Allah, our God, but this is in reverence. Whatever reason they give you, tafsir, or whatever your reason your mind also gives you for this change in the Quran ayats as about Sajdah, the change has not come in polities. They have been consistent. Firstly, there's no misunderstanding arising. Wow, amazing, isn't it? Do you also see this? Consistency. But you have misunderstandings in your own commentators, between your own commentators about this. And then you have to go to the Bible and the Talmud and then say, well, there's been a misunderstanding. Now, this verse, someone says it's a Sunni or a Salafi says it's abrogated. The Shia say it's not abrogated. You can still have reverence and bow down to the Khalifa, the Rahman, which is our last Imam, the Shias would say, or the Ismailis would say, our Hazir Imam, in reverence, the same way as Yusuf's father did to Yaqub, prostrated to Yaqub. Oh, sorry, Yusuf. Yusuf's father Yaqub prostrated to Yusuf's father Yaqub prostrated to Yusuf in Surah, same Surah, Ayat 100. And Sunni Shia fight, please finish it. No abrogation. Just your niyat. Don't just look at this ayat. At least have this much. I make a unity between Shia Sunni and Salafi, and all of them come after me and execute me. Very good. Like they say in Urdu, ke apne hi paon pe kulari marna. X. And of his son, signs are the night and the day and the sun and the moon. Do not prostrate to the sun or to the moon. But he didn't say to man. But prostrate to Allah who created them. If it should be him that you worship. Everything, but now this is very clear about prostration and worshipping of Allah. Sujood is a form of worshipping Allah. Everything bows to him. Let's see if this how clear this ayat is. Prostrates to Allah. Unwillingly, willingly, what is the Quran? Oh God. So how do we do it? Eloquent people, help me. Behold, before Allah bows in submission all that is in the heavens and all that is in the earth, whether living beings or the angels, for none are arrogant. So here, you will be arrogant if you bow to them. Oh my God. Oh, what's this? Surah Hajj ayat 18. Do you not see that to Allah prostrates whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth, and the sun and the moon and the stars, the mountains, the trees, the moving creatures, and many of the people? But upon many the punishment has been justified. And he whom Allah humiliates, for him there is no bestower of honor. Indeed, Allah does what he wills. Punishment, it's like you have become Iblis now. And that poor Iblis, you have become shaitan. Saying, no, we're not going to prostrate. Allah is making you into shaitan. Right? Okay. So we go back and we go to Surah Nahl, Ayat Islam Awakened. Quran.com hasn't given me this. Yes, judo. Yes, judo. Okay. And so where do I start? And to Allah prostrate whatever's in the heavens and whatever's in the earth of moving creatures and the angels, and they are not arrogant. But it doesn't say, but I have to be very careful, right? I don't know. So it's quite confusing, isn't it? Like Hazrat Yaqub prostrating. He was once a prophet, and now he's a prophet. So one prophet goes, another prophet comes. But two prophets at the same time. Him and his son. But he prostrated to, Hazrat Yaqub prostrated to Hazrat Yusuf, his son. So if you forgot before prostrated itself, Surah Nahl, ayat 49. Surah Nahl, ayat 49. So sometimes if I miss the ayats, do the people not see how the objects Allah has created cast their shadows right and left, prostrating themselves in utter submission to Allah? Utter submission. And to Allah prostrates whatever's in the heavens and whatever's on the earth of creatures and the angels as well, and they are not arrogant. They fear their Lord above them, and they do what they are commanded. My God, you must be fearing Muslims very much. And now, just let's say that those Hazrat Yaqub, yes, prostrated to Hazrat Yusuf. Let's just say that those ayats are abrogated. Because this, very, very scary. Strict. And Allah has said, do not take for yourselves two deities. So, prostrate to one, Allah alone. Previous ayat, right? That's why they're saying this is for, that's why in Surah Fusilat, you see how unfair this religion has become. He made Muhammad, Prophet. God said, Allah is but one God, so fear only me. No. And Allah has said, do not take two gods. Two only. Two gods, two only. He is God one. Wahidun. Wahidun. Yeah, Wahidun. That's my Arabic. That's his Arabic, mine is different. So I just put it on and heard him. So me alone, you fear, okay? And so you will remain away from sujood of man. Even Khalifa come, Khalifa Rahman, now the end Khalifa come. Will not the Shias will go down, prostrate, meaning more than one. So what this mean? And to him belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth, and to him is due worship constantly. Wajib or farz? the earth, and to him is due constantly wasiban. Then it is other Allah you fear. Okay, you say not fear and all this, but look deep, closely examine. Maybe it means worship means that. So you better be careful who you pay homage to. And whatever you have of favor, it is from Allah. And worship, yeah, so sujood is, there's a very thin line between insanity, and sujood of this type. In Surah Yusuf, ayat 100, and Surah Fusilat, ayat 37. Very thin line. You need to be sure who your Khalifa is. Shias think they will be very, very sure. Imam Mahdi, 12 Shias. Ismaili Shias know their Khalifa, Imam, Hazir Imam, and they will bow to him. It's not wrong. For them, this verse, the verse in Surah Yusuf may not be abrogated. The way the thing goes, the tafsir goes on this. But you see how he's made it. He's made the Shias think that yes, there are technically two sujuds. One, if you pay it's the niyat inside. Niyat. So allow the Shias to prostrate in front of who? No, that Rosa of Rasulullah, Saudi Arabia. Not Haram. He's still alive for them. There are two types. Prophet Muhammad is alive. He's a mercy. Shaheed. Shaheed is always alive. Quran ayat. But the Qibla is there. Maybe they think now the bowing is of ruku. Changed. There are two types of sajdas. Oh my God. Okay, I may go round and round in circles. But I don't think the Shias now bow in full prostration. They may do a little bit of bowing. Ya Abul Qasim al Muhammad. Yeah, put your head down. Yeah, it's like in their ziyarat for Imam Mahdi. Yeah, it's like a ruku, bowing a little their head and their, necks. But now this sajda is not allowed. Now, where is he leading you to? Shaitan? What Shaitan said, even if it's in the Talmud, that I will not bow down to any human being. But Hazrat Yusuf, Hazrat Yaqub bowed down, sajda. God could have used ruku or jadiya, the kneeling, like the Christians kneel down sometimes in the church for some special prayers. Now what to do? Can we do anything? So you work it out, I work it out, but I think mostly he's made a mistake by using Allah, and he's taking you to what Shaitan denied, refused to do to a human being created by him. And that's what he should have said here, but he says here, Allah says that he was proud. Because he says, you've made me with, if this ayat had said, this ayat in the Quran, that I refuse to bow to Adam, because later on, one day when Prophet Muhammad comes on earth, your law would be not to bow to any created being but me. And your reason will be this. But mine was you put mine a little different. You said that I'm proud. I'm made of the fire, and he's made of clay. Yet I used to bow to you. And now you've gone back to not what the niyat I put forth, the way reason I put forth. My reason was of arrogance. But your reason is of that you cannot anymore bow to created beings, created things. But during Yusuf's time, Hazrat Yaqub bowed down to Yusuf, and you did not say that this is also a created being of mine. You shouldn't. What are you doing, O Prophet? You see, like he told Hazrat Nuh, that no, he is not of your all, your son is not of your family. Meaning your son is not your son. But there he objected. Here he doesn't object. Surah Yusuf ayat 100. This means Quran only people, reason, use your reason. Are you still stuck? Confused? Well, Shias have given their own reason, tried to, very nice, did that. But what do you say when it tells the polytheists, why are you bowing down? Or who is it saying to? Do not bow to the sun. What did Hazrat Abraham? Hazrat Abraham said, I do not take them as my God. But yet he was doing a prostration in the Bible, we are told, Genesis, to other beings. Huh? So this is what you should be pondering, thinking, contemplating on. And if you find an answer that is justified, and then it goes against the consistency and no misunderstandings created in even you Muslims about this, come up with that justified answer, whole, complete answer, so that I can give it to the polytheists, to the Hindus too. They are consistent, there's no misunderstanding in that. You have divinity in you, they say, I bow to the divinity in you. Oh, God. Okay, so this is the meaning of namaste. About they put their hands together, they don't really, only to the gods they go fully down, flat on the ground in front of their idols. But if you find a conclusive answer that will satisfy, be justified completely for the polytheists also, then let me know, please. Until then, waiting. If you can find if you don't, and I'm sure you won't, contradiction, unfair, unjust to the polytheists. And thus the Hindus also, who have remained sincere to their gods and the Sajdah they do. But they call it something else. Thank you so much. I will be coming back later. Let's see. Thank you. God bless you. Please leave this religion. Leave the misunderstandings, the conflicts between you Muslims would go, and we would have a life of oneness in other ways, not in the Islamic way. And if I've missed out on something, omission, I'll come back. Have I missed out? Error, Sajdah. Have I done a little bit of justice to these contradictions? But maybe not complete justice. So if I've left something out, even a sentence, to succinctly tell you and be justified in it, that this is wrong. But this is right. I don't think so. So there's a message. Sorry, I have to go now. Thank you very much.